What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Also Simplified Life Strategies. Coming to a video here about cash is the most important position. So, little housekeeping before I jump into the video. If you watched my last one, apologize, didn't post those videos. I actually shot them, but I think I'm from my other channels, link in the description below. One is a book review channel, other one's a fitness channel. Click on them. I'm gonna start all of those beginning of 2021. Just keep it a clean year. And I actually shot this video already, but I'm reshooting it, gonna make it better. So done with that. Cash is the most important position. Where does this come from? So obviously, if you watch any of my content, you know I watch a lot of YouTube, things like that. Got a lot of good advice from it. But I feel like one thing that keeps coming up that was something that I ran into is that people are always trying to tell you to invest your money even if you don't have money, and there's kind of a multitude of different ways they try to tell you to do that, and I actually think having your cash is the most important position. So obviously with 2020, everything that happened, everybody knows that having a little bit of a nest egg to kind of draw from was definitely something that was very important. Number one, for flexibility and movability. I mean, that allows you to ride certain storms, whether it's a virus, whether it's losing your job, whether it's just shit coming up in your life. You will have something to work from that you can use to kind of get you through that time. So the first thing is really just that flexibility, movability. If you don't have cash, you don't have that. So if you've invested it in a course that you purchased, which I'll get into the invest yourself thing, you don't have that money to spend. If you've purchased a property, which I don't think is the worst thing to do, but having cash on hand is just an important thing. I feel like it's the most important decision for that flexibility and movability point. Until you really get to a specific point, which is completely arbitrary, I'm going to put like $100,000, like 100K. I really look at it like your investments should not be like, you're not going to basically be able to invest enough to make that much money. Like, let's just be honest. I mean, a lot of people, you know, refer to the stock market. The stock market only really works if you are investing large sums of money so that you can get large returns. But if you have like $10,000, a 10% return in a year on $1,000 is $100. Like, that's never going to turn into anything, and you're not going to like retire on that amount of money. So keeping it in cash reserves is going to be very marginal difference through that whole year if you just held $1,000 in the cash, or if you got a 10% return on it doing something else. Now, I'm not saying that I don't advocate investing. I just don't advocate investing until you have enough cash that, one, if anything goes wrong and you have an emergency, you have something to spend, but then also you have enough cash where you built up the discipline that you can just make money and save it. Like, that's a very important concept that I don't think is stressed enough, that it takes a lot of discipline to have a bunch of money in an account and not touch it. So that's why I use a sacred account to do that. Now, I want to make a caveat. So my number one caveat would be if you have immediate debts. If you have immediate debts, I think you should pay those off. What do I consider immediate debt? Anything that's not like your home or student loans. I can get deeper into those concepts in a whole nother video, but those I would say you should kind of focus on. Just have like maybe a month of security or 2 months of security, and then I would just be throwing all my money at those, because any investment you do, the interest that you're saving from paying off, especially if it's like a credit card or a card, is going to be exponentially higher than anything you make in returns, unless you hit some kind of crazy ass deal, which in terms of like stock market and things like that, I'm not really into like picking stocks. I don't really know the game that well, and I know there's people that do this for a living, so how am I going to beat them doing it on a less than part-time basis? I'm more of an index fund guy when I think about investments into the stock market in that sense. So I would say the only real caveat to everything I'm saying is if you have immediate debts, I think that that should be almost considered saving, because once you clear those away, once again, it gives you that flexibility and movability that you don't have something hanging over your head that you are forced to produce in order to survive in the future. So the last point I want to get to is something I already kind of touched on, is the invest in yourself. So this is the most, I think, insidious of the types of things that are pitched in terms of investing. And this is the invest in yourself. And generally you're going to hear this from a YouTube guru, a Facebook, Instagram guru pushing a course that is saying invest in yourself, invest in your future, invest in this. And really what that is code name is buy my shit, buy this thing I'm promoting, spend all of your money on it. And they can really pull your heartstrings, get you very wrapped up in the sales pitch. And then you spend $5,000 on a fucking course that doesn't change your life. And you only had $5,000. So now you're broke trying to make this fucking 80 hours of video work, which is a lot of video to watch, let alone implement. And you're just stressed out because you basically spent all this money, you're working a 9 to 5, and now you're trying to put all this into practice. Now, I definitely recommend actually doing the things that are in the course, but I'm speaking from experience here. Speaking from experience, I have 2 courses in my head right away. One was 5,000, the other one was around 2,000. It was like around 2,400 because I had to actually go there to change certain parts of my life. And I will just be upfront that those courses they weren't set up the best, and I should have understood this. I've had college classes that I didn't get the best value from, and I had college classes that I got great value from. I have courses that I purchased I've gotten great value from, courses I've purchased that I haven't gotten great value from. But my big thing that I'm going to say here is that you got to kind of keep everything is relative. Like if you have $100,000 in a bank, buying a $5,000 course is probably not a huge concern. But if you have $5,000 in a bank, buying a $1,000 course is a large investment, and you should think of it as such. You know, if you only have $1,000, $5,000 in the bank, I would say you should only buy courses that are $500 and under. Like if you can't put that into practice and get some results to where you can grow your nest egg up to a point where you can make a larger investment, you're just not ready. Like plain and simple. And I think it will save you a lot of heartache. I know I've basically almost, I don't want to say wasted because I still got the experience, but I spent a lot of money on courses that I didn't fully implement because I got caught up in the sales pitch, caught up in the idea of investing in myself. The real investment of yourself is learning how to save your money and build up the discipline to grow your nest egg, because that is something that most people can't do. Most Americans cannot, you know, afford a $1,000 emergency in 30 days. So you know, you don't want to be that person. Keep growing your nest egg. The real investment in yourself is legitimately in yourself. Like you're not spending this money on other people's shit, what other people are telling you to do. You're saving it for yourself so you're ready to make your big play. When you are ready to make that big play, when you do have enough to actually make a real investment, purchase, put a good down payment on a good property and start to get rents coming in, you know, invest, you know, $1 million in the stock market. So when you're making that 10% return, it's $100,000. It's not, you know, a measly $1,000 or $100 when you're putting in $1,000. So I would say just keep a lot of that stuff in mind. I mean, I can go deeper into this, into a longer video in terms of like people only really get rich from active income. They have a very good offense, and then they set up a passive game, which is more of the defense of not losing the money, putting it in things that bring it in. But you know, offense wins games and defense wins championships. But you can't go to the championship until you win games. You need to put numbers up on the board. So the first thing what you want to do is you want to collect numbers up on your scoreboard, which is saving and taking the money that you're making and saving it, and just making sure that nobody is like making you fumble. You're not, you know, fumbling the ball and buying a course you don't need, fumbling the ball and buying a bunch of fucking, you know, shit that don't even appreciate, isn't even an investment. It's just, you know, buying a table at the bar. I mean at the club. You buying a fucking table and you can't even pay your bills. Come on, let's be real. But that's it for this one. 2021, be on the lookout for my new videos. Link in the description. If you want to like subscribe before there's even anything live, please do it. I would very appreciate that. But for this one, like, comment, subscribe. Fuck with the vibe. Welcome to the tribe. Until next time, peace.